game for the emote. Obviously, got the links already know it's the emote, but we are unlocking the links emote right now. I don't know what it's called. It's called a cat something. It's like a backwards cat flip. So we'll see what it is. I might be the first people to get it. So hopefully we get something cool, something very unique. I want to see something cool. I like emotes probably more than skins in this game. So let's see what we got here. All right, locker. There it is. All right, we got the cat flip. Okay. All right, let me know right now in the chat. What the? Wait, what's going on right now? That is a little bit weird. Okay. All right, let's. All right, we have to do it with the links. There it is, the links cat flip. Wait, it meowed? It didn't meow before, did it? It meowed. Does this guy meow? What the hell? That guy meowed too. Alright, let's do the Yeti. I wanna see this map. Oh, what the hell? His mouth moved. Watch this. His mouth moved. Whoa, that was so awesome. Look at his eyes, though. This is so weird. Alright, let's do the Santa. This giant ass. I want to see him meow. Look at his beard out. His mouth moves that much. Alright, what skin? I wanna see what skin we cat that looks really good. Yes, the chicken defender. Oh, his face is good. What skin was this? You bought that way from me? What skin shows the mouth? Do the dire wolf doing a backflip. Where is he at?
Dude, imagine Thanos doing that emote.
Oh, yeah. Watch the wolf. The wolf's mouth might move on this. What the hell? His nose goes through the hands. Alright, there it is, boys. The new emote. We're stage 6 on the link. We're only 100,000 away from unlocking the world's first butt. Okay. Ice King. Oh, we're only 600 out of this off. Ice King. We're gonna get very, very sick. So, if you guys are watching the stream, you guys have. Good, bro. Yeah, they're running. I swear I just
I hit him 3 times, bro.
Nothing happened.
That heavy sniper. Grab that. Lift that. I almost got hit with the fucking plane, man. Coming out. Yeah. I pumped that fucking
the game, bro. Let's go.
Nice catch. Big mistake. Yeah, no doubt. Nice.
Let's get it, baby. Let's go.
Show me.
We bought a box, and now we're. You should win the game first, and then we should give you the present.
It's only right. Set it up, I get the turret ready, and I think Mr. Beast should just lay him out. There you go, dog. It's all you. There he is, bro. Right click to Stadia.
No!
Crowd surf this man out here. Got my camera.
Alright. Yeah, who's heard of a two-man crowd surf?
I don't know, dude.
Alright, take it up. Keep this. It looks so good on the inside.
What? Dude! My new house! Oh my god. Oh. This is dope. Let's go fucking drive it, dude.
When luck meets perseverance of the human spirit, the most incredible survival stories are born. Stories that amaze us and make us real. When luck meets perseverance of the human spirit, the most incredible survival stories are born. Stories that amaze us and make us realize that inside our vulnerabilities, there's a little fighter inside us, ready to take control when the road gets bumpy. Let's find out about these amazing stories that reveal inhuman amounts of luck and unluckiness, depending on how you look at them. Number 10. Frank Selleck. With lots of superpower, his Croatian music teacher definitely has it. He survived a derailed train, a plane crash, 3 flaming cars, and 2 bus crashes. He became both the luckiest and unluckiest man alive. After achieving death 7 times, you might have thought Selleck's luck had run its course, but you'd be wrong. He purchased his first ever lottery ticket and won the equivalent of just over $1 million at the time. He decided to give it all away to family and friends, saying his health and his wife is all he needs to be happy. But apparently the 7 accidents weren't the only disasters in his life. He also adds 6 previous marriages to that list. Number 9. Tsutomu Yamaguchi. Amazingly, this man has experienced 2 nuclear explosions at Ground Zero and survived both to tell the tale. On the 6th of August in 1945, he was in Hiroshima on a business trip when it was nuked by an American bomber. He saw a great flash in the sky as it exploded 3 kilometers away from him. He was blown over, suffered severe burns, ruptured his eardrums, and was temporarily blinded. He then returned home, 180 miles to the west, where he received treatment for his wounds. His hometown, Nagasaki, was then hit by the second U.S. atomic bomb to strike Japan. Despite around 200,000 people dying from the bombings, he's the only survivor of both bombings recognized by the government of Japan. Still, he lived to the age of 93, though he did start to suffer from radiation-related ailments later in life. Number 8. Paul Temple. This man spent his 20s as a safari guide, which led him to ending up inside of a hippo for an afternoon. That day, he was taking clients down Zimbabwe's Zambezi River when all of a sudden a Range Rover-sized monster hippo, about 4.5 meters long and 1.5 meters high, knocked one of his pals out of his canoe. As he paddled towards his friend, the hippo cruised towards him, rippling the water like a torpedo cutting through the water. As he turned to grab his friend, all of a sudden, everything became dark, slimy, and smelly. He was underwater, but his waist up wasn't wet like his legs were. Turns out he was head first up to his waist in the hippo's mouth. He wriggled until the hippo opened its jaws wide enough for him to make an escape. But hippos are notoriously ruthless, killing more people in Africa than any other animal. So it struck again, dragging him back under the surface. After what felt like ages, the hippo lurched suddenly for the surface, spitting him out. But maybe it was because his feet looked tastier, as the hippo quickly swallowed Paul again. This time, feet first, where Paul scratched and punched away at it. He figured that by holding the hippo's canine tusks, which were born healing, his flesh wouldn't tear so much. That probably would have led to the hippo releasing it, as it grew frustrated that he wasn't being ripped into 100 different pieces. It took Paul 8 agonizing hours to get to a hospital without any painkillers, and he admitted that the pain was so intense he considered suicide. In the end, his arm was crushed to a pulp. He had a wound so deep his lung was visible, and a doctor counted 40 puncture wounds on his body. He survived and wrote a book on the ordeal. Number 7. Max Suter. Picture sitting on your couch, doing some channel surfing, when suddenly, the floor starts moving like jello. The wall in front of you disappears, and a 150-mile-per-hour tornado takes you for a nasty ride 40 meters into the air. There's no surviving a ride like that. That is, unless you're Matt Suter. In 2006, the 19-year-old Missouri native was in his grandmother's trailer when a massive force hit the trailer, wrecking everything around him. Wearing only his underpants, Matt was sucked out of the trailer into the raging darkness beyond. By the time he regained consciousness, the twister had tossed him 400 meters away in a grass field. He broke the record for the longest distance a human being has ever survived being flung, a record initially held by a 9-year-old girl who rode a tornado for 300 meters. Number 6. Anatoly Petrovich Vygotsky. Russian scientist Anatoly Petrovich Vygotsky is best known for accidentally sticking his head in front of charged particles while traveling almost at the speed of light. He was testing a malfunctioning piece of equipment at the U-70 synchrotron particle accelerator when the safety mechanisms failed. Although I doubt he wanted it this way, experiencing and surviving that could be considered a contribution to science in itself. He reported seeing a flash brighter than 1,000 suns, but didn't feel any pain. Still, over the next several days, his face swelled up beyond recognition and started peeling off, revealing the path that the proton beam had burned through his face. Though he received far in excess of a fatal dose of radiation, he survived, and even completed his PhD. Off, revealing the path that the proton beam had burned through his face. Though he received far in excess of a fatal dose of radiation, he survived, and even completed his PhD. Believe it or not, the freaky part comes just now. Looking at Vygotsky now, you'll notice that the right half of his face is aged, while the left half looks as if it was frozen in time 22 years ago. Maybe there's something to it? Take that, Botox. Number 5. Harrison Okene. Some people would argue that a bad day at the office is still better than a good day at the office, but Harrison Okene doesn't quite agree with that. In May 2013, Okene was working as a cook on a tugboat moving through stormy waters of the coast of Nigeria, where a sudden rogue wave slammed into the vessel and the ship began to sink. He managed to find a small pocket of air in the engineer's office, but the boat had landed upside down on the seafloor, 300 meters below the surface, facing a staggering number of lethal threats and forced to hear how his crewmates were devoured by sharks. He started losing hope. 3 days later, a group of salvage divers looking for purpose, facing a step, and the ship began to sink. He managed to find a small pocket of air in the engineer's office, but the boat had landed upside down on the seafloor, 300 meters below the surface, facing a staggering number of lethal threats and forced to hear how his crewmates were devoured by sharks. He started losing hope. 3 days later, a group of salvage divers looking for bodies were shocked to see a human hand waving at them through an opening in the shipwreck. Understandably, his miraculous rescue went viral after it was posted online. Number 4. Wenceslas Mogel. Pancho Villa was a Mexican revolutionary general and one of the most prominent figures of the Mexican Revolution, co-starring in Hollywood films as himself. After his defeat by the Constitutionalists in 1915, northern rebels faced harsh punishments by regional de facto armies. Among his supporters was a guy called